Hey everyone, this is Different Spectrums Podcast, and I'm your host, Dr. Nazir Zerka, go by Dr. Naz, licensed clinical therapist, social worker, group therapist, public speaker, and all that other crazy shit. I am humbly and excited to bring you onto the podcast to listen to us. We've got tons of pods. You can go back and look at our catalog with tons of beautiful guests, awesome guests, intelligent guests, magnificent people. Go check those out. But moving forward, I will be your host and only host, and really excited to bring you a new era of more personable, more self-help, more things to educate and bring to life the characters, movies, and shows in which we were originally supposed to do. So much appreciation for you guys following, listening, paying attention. Please like, share, so we can spread the word, so folks like me that are very authentic can get more clicks, likes, and just more people to listen and hear. I also want to bring attention to the intro, all the resources that we have in the link tree. Please go check those out. Remember, tons of free worksheets for you, friends, other therapists. There's assessments for ADHD, autism, anxiety. There's couples related stuff. There's coloring related stuff. It's all free. And plus I have a massive list of athletes, for those of you that love sports, of folks that have mental health related issues that have been collecting that. It's over 60 pages long. And I've been doing it for about 6 or 7 years now. So much appreciation, much love. And thank you for rocking with me. Enjoy the show, enjoy our guest, or just enjoy me running my mouth about whatever we're talking about today. Much love, y'all. And remember to take care of yourselves. And if you don't, we'll get you there. We'll get you there, homie. Peace.
You choose to eat this?
The Javin owe their lives to that stuff. When the Zoe left, we lost our food source. The brush root kept the hunger down, but only for so long. The Javin almost starved.
I didn't know that.
We lost so many. Friends, cousins, aunts, uncles. My mum and dad. I was the oldest, so, it was on me to find food for my sisters, so they didn't starve. Not that they appreciate it for a second, of course. They just think of me as a bossy, annoying big sis. But if I don't look out for them, who will?
That sounds like a heavy burden.
Yeah. What? You don't trust me? You don't trust me? Ouch.
Okay, well, my community is relying on me.
Oh, and mine isn't?
Oh, come on. It's not the same, not even by a long shot.
Look, I'll have you know, it's my job to make sure the Javin fatten up for the winter.
Fatten up?
Yes, and our piplets are running low.
Your piplets?
Yes.
Oh, you mean the ones you took from me?
What? I have never taken anything from you.
You really don't remember, do you?
Remember what? Ollie, what are you talking about?
The little poo-koo who taught you how to open the piplets? That was me. You ate everything, you ran us underground, and now we live off your scraps. My dad told me that outsiders weren't to be trusted, but I didn't listen. I never listened. And it's all my fault, because I was so gullible and naive and stupid. We're not gonna survive the winter. Do you understand that? We're gonna starve. It's all my fault. You know, my own father, he won't even look me in the eye. And it's all because I trusted you.
Firewolf.
Bogle?
There was never Bugle. There was only ever me.
The tail. You're the one. You're the one. You tore the valley apart.
You created the dam. You drove the zoo out.
Yes, and yes, I'm good. What can I say?
But why? You ruined everything. There was so much peace here. There was peace here, and you destroyed it. You caused so much pain.
What about my pain? I was the runt of my litter, so my pack tossed me aside to die. And none of the other creatures wanted me around. So I promised myself that one day I would burn the valley down, and those who survived would bow down to me. I ruled this place until those tree monsters sent one last pod and trapped me in that hideous fish body.
The pods.
I waited ages for someone to come along, some gullible, trusting fool like you. Oh, Ali, you do that for me? Wow, you're my best friend. Did you even think about any of this? You thought that pack of puny tree wolves were fire wolves?
Ivy! No, Ivy!
What are you crying about? You wanted to get rid of her, didn't you? You think she's your friend? There are no friends in the valley. It's time the valley was ruled by fear again.
Ollie. He's wrong about you. Keep your heart open.
No. Ivy!
Get everyone to their nests!
We need to help the valley.
Wait! Everyone stop! We have to help!
It's too dangerous. We have to look after our own.
All right, everyone, listen up! Now, my big sister may be bossy and annoying and overbearing. Some might actually even say tyrannical.
Hold on!
I'm talking. Not only does she interrupt, she talks too much, also her plume is like annoyingly big. These are all things we can obviously agree on, but she has always risked herself to take care of us. And we wouldn't be here without her. She thinks I don't know that, but I do. Look, she may not always be right, but she is definitely right about this. The Valley needs our help.
Violet's right about Ivy being right.
Hey, looks like we're back. We're rocking and rolling. Today, we're going to do, as you've already seen from the clips, Swapped. And looking at the clips from Swapped, we're going to get into multiple different things. When we're looking at these characters, specifically, we have these animals, the puku, and then we have the javin, the birds. And we see Michael B. Jordan, and then we see the other cast member, Juno. I think that's her name. So we see Ollie and Ivy, right? The two characters. So we're going to dive into those two characters. Specifically today, I'll give a little backstory about what the show is about. But we're going to touch on, kind of like we always do, trauma. But this is more going to be about culture, more about softness, more about childhood innocence, and then watching it being taken. We're going to talk subtly about bullying, but more specifically on how the world kind of takes things from very nice, kind, soft individuals. And so a lot of us become hardened. We end up becoming poisoned from the toughness, from the surviving, from the conniving of the world. And we're going to talk about a lot of stories and how me and other clients have to navigate surviving, and you kind of die slowly inside. If we're being real, that's what happens. You just kind of die. You end up being very fearful, very hypervigilant, very scared, very paranoid. And you see that throughout the show. This is what they're trying to teach the little guy, Ollie, is how to survive and how to stay alone and isolated, which we'll get into in a second. We're also going to talk a little bit about dissociation. There's going to be one very key, quick scene that I want to talk about. At the very end, we'll end with, the saddest shit that there is, the grief. It's actually very terrifying in there. Obviously you saw it when Ollie passes. And then how just your personality changes over time. So we're going to talk about personality changing, hypervigilance, trauma, manipulation, bullying, insomnia, and the burden. One of the big topics is the burden of being the big sister, or the burden of being the elder sibling, or the intelligent sibling that ends up having to take over for the family. And maybe that's because it's a traumatic childhood, parents are neglectful, maybe someone's incarcerated, maybe someone dies, maybe they're both working extremely hard and they don't have time. Maybe they have a ton of money and they're fucking off and they don't really care about you as a kid. But sometimes folks will have to step up as that third parent. And so we're going to get in and talk about that. I think a lot of my clients are highly intelligent, and my neurodivergent girlies end up stepping up in ways that they shouldn't. But someone has to, so they do. So we're going to talk about that and how that changes things, how that maneuvers personalities, and how it shows up in relationships down yonder. Later in life. Later in life. That's a word. All right. Let's get into it. I'm wearing this new shirt. I know I like the shirt, but then it shows the chest. It is not much chest, but now I feel like my head's big. Why does my head look so big? I don't know. We're rocking a shirt. It is what it is. It's a comfortable shirt. Before we get super started, giving away another 3D item. This is a tissue box from the Super Mario Brothers, the big question mark thing. Your tissue box go underneath. This is the Kirkland brand. It's one of the bigger sizes, so even if you have a smaller brand, it should fit in there pretty well. So, oh my God, what should you guys say? Comment tissue? No, tissue sounds very perverted. What are you, masturbating? Jesus. Comment Super Mario? No. Super Mario. Super Mario. No. You can comment tissue or Super Mario, and I will ship this to you. I'm super behind on a lot of shit, but I'm catching up with some of the content. Hopefully over the next few weeks I can catch up. I already have to ship out some sabers from last time. And then this will be the giveaway for today. A tissue box that I 3D printed. And I will print another one and mail that little fucker to you. Then you can use those tissues however you want. Perverts. It's fucking terrible. So, comment tissue or comment Super Mario tissue. Jesus Christ. All right. And don't forget to like and subscribe and share. Please help us out, help me out, and help get the word out to what we're doing and trying to affect people, trying to make positive change, trying to save people's lives. So if you really could, remember to comment that. And then if you could tag 2 people in the comments, whether it be Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, or LinkedIn, please do that for me. Okay. So let's get fucking started. As I already told you, right, we have the 2 main characters, and it is a story of this jungle-ish plain, this nature, this wonderful place where everyone lives, and you see these bluffs or these cliffs, and then you see everyone that lives in the bottom, and it's magnificent. It's gorgeous, but it looks like there was this fire wolf that actually everything was gorgeous, and there's these big elephant tree looking motherfuckers. And they provided all this life, and people would eat from them. People would live on them, blah, blah, blah. It was fantastic. Well, somehow this wolf ended up controlling the valley and burning all the shit down, and then created a dam. And then a lot of people ended up dying because they ended up starving and the food was gone. And these Zoa, these big elephant tree looking things, left right there, murdered. So that lies the story of why there's a lot of hunger going on, which you don't really know about. And then you hear obviously later on throughout the show. And then you think there's some villains in the show, and then the villains change, obviously. And so that's kind of what we're doing. We see the Javin, which are the birds, and we see these little pukus, these little mole rat looking some bitches. I don't know what they are. They're cute as shit though. And we start off the scene with him being kind of traumatized because the birds. He ends up trusting this bird, this Javin, and the bird they end up having a sweet moment where they share food. And the bird learns how to eat the food, and then all the birds come and eat all the food everywhere. And they end up taking over all the food. And so it looks like they end up going into starvation, the puku, and they have to hide underground because the birds are swarming and taking all the stuff. And so now you see this life where you're living good and everything's awesome, and Holly's fantastic, having fun. Everyone's living good. and they're having this big celebration. And then next thing you know, everything is gone and they're desolate. They're depressed and it looks like everyone's going to starve. That's how the movie starts out. They're going to die. It's very sad. And it turns out it was all Ollie's fault. He is the reason and why in which the bird found out how to eat these piplets, these little fruit looking things, like green bean fruits. I don't fucking know what they are. I probably wouldn't eat it. I don't eat vegetables. I'm autistic. So you see the self-hatred, and rightfully so, that he has. And you see him try to talk to his father, and his father can't talk to him, can't look him in the eye. And he's trying to find ways to like help the family. And then he ends up, the whole story changes where he changes. He ends up becoming a bird and then it becoming a fish. And it's like a whole thing. So that's what the story's about. And then she is the bird that ended up eating the goddamn thing and then, you know, starving out his whole people, which we find out later in the movie. Spoilers, hella spoilers. But specifically, I wanted to hone in at the very first scene. I did not record it and show you, but it opens up him as a young man, him as a young boy, not a young man, young little toddler, right? And he's just swimming and having fun and vibing. And he almost dies. Looks like he almost get eaten by that goddamn boogle, that fish, played by Tracy Morgan. Happy fucker. I know he's like a super Knicks fan until the Knicks looks like they're going to the finals. FYI. So shout out to Knicks bastards. And so what do we see? We see that he is enjoying himself. But then the father's like super paranoid and says, no, we only stay on the island. We never leave the island because we're safe here. We have food here. Remember, we never venture off. And so you think about it, how that relates to today. We see a lot of family members, a lot of people saying, well, we don't talk to those people. We don't go to those places. We don't go to those urban, poor, black and brown places. Or we don't go to those places, you know, that's where the queer people are. Or, you know, we don't go to those countries because that's where, you know, the terrorists are and the bombs are, the third world, and this and that, right? You're programmed to think of like the muggings and the horrible things and the terror. You're programmed. We're all by propaganda. If you go walk in the streets here or there, you're going to get murdered, shot, or raped, right? It's like horrible things that the world just feeds into you, and you end up becoming very scared and terrified about what could happen to you, your body, your family, your money. And it's horrifying. And you're scared to go on trips. You're scared to go on flights. You're scared to interact with humans. And then what do? You shut down and you shove everyone away and you don't engage with the world. Why? Because you've been programmed that people are bad. And then you meet some bad people as well too. And that innocence, that joy, that loveliness, that bubbliness, it ends up dissipating. Because the propaganda in which you were told has become true. It's very sad. And so we see a lot of bright, playful, joyful, engaging, wanting to make friends, talking to people. We see it just fades and we become smaller and smaller and smaller mentally, emotionally. We become stunted in our ability to engage, to talk, to be playful, to be kind, to be curious. We start to lose our curiosity. I think we had one of those guests on the astrophysicist, space science. I think he was an astrophysicist. Yeah. Black dude. I forgot his name. The football player from Kentucky. It was a great podcast that we did. And the whole thing was about curiosity. And I think that's a big thing that's missing in a lot of us because it gets stomped out. Creativity gets stomped out, especially with neurodivergent kiddos. But everyone will tell you it's to protect you. It's to be safe. To be on guard. Because watch out, everyone's bad. But it ends up poisoning you. Then you don't end up make the connections that you want to. Then you see all this horrible shit on social media. And you think these things and you get told all these lies, right? Because it's just for clicks. And then you end up finding out that a lot of the stuff that you've watched and saw and heard are lies. You start talking to people and having real conversation. You're like, these are lovely people. Or maybe you go on these trips or you go out in the woods or the forest or certain communities, different countries. You're like, oh my God, this is gorgeous. This is fantastic. Look how awesome this is. And so that's what's terrible about the world. You just think everything is just bad. I think they do that so you don't talk to people, so you don't love people. Obviously, that's what they do. So we hate each other. So we continue to kill each other and fight over the scraps so that already the rich pervert molesting, rapist, piece of shit politicians and everyone else we have and all the other rich bastards. There's no good billionaires. Remember that. There's no good billionaires. They had to do a lot of horrible shit to get that money, and they're not paying the people they should be. I don't give a fuck what party you are. And all the rich do is keep us all hating each other. Period. We're idiots. Everyone who listens to these the rich folks and politicians, you're idiots. They're all paid by the rich folks to make us all hate each other. We're all fucked. We just don't know it. People are starting to see it, though. I like to bring this up because I thought about this throughout the entire movie. It's people just trying to survive. So people just eating things and taking things, but not knowing that it affects other people and populations. Right. And so there's no empathy there because you don't even know that other population, those people even needed that food, that information, that money, those resources. But it's always I, me, my. Why? Well, you have to survive. So I understand it. I mean, but it's not fair. And then these communities, they all hate each other in the forest. They're all terrified of each other, right? That none of them can be connected because they're all supposed to either kill each other or avoid each other or predator and prey. And it's a great metaphor, analogy, whatever the hell you want to call it for today, the world. Eat first. What Tupac say? Shoot first. Yeah, you have to win, and so it's through survival, and that's why I enjoyed the show, and I advise all of you to watch it and check it out. I think it's fantastic, and it's very playful, it's very cool, but it's also sad as fuck. And so we see these individuals struggling for survival, which leads us into some of these scenes that I wanted to talk about. And we get to the first scene where we see, well, obviously there's the first scene in the movie. I didn't clip that. The first scene I wanted to show you all was technically about snakes and about synesthesia and a bunch of stuff in therapy. I'm going to make reels of that, so that's not going to be on this podcast. But the first scene is where we see him and her, and they're talking. And you see her talking about being a big sis and how everyone is like dying and her family's starving. And so many people died because, right, the big elephant looking dudes, I forgot what they're called, they die and everything changes. And she now has to take care of her siblings. And that will forever change you if your parents die. That will forever change you if your parents are neglectful or if they're not showing up or maybe there's too many kids. And so you'll see a lot of the girlies, specifically women, step up. Like step up at very young ages to handle things, to make sure everyone's fed and changing diapers and cleaning the house and making food, right? You just end up stepping up. Which is hell inappropriate, but someone has to do it. If the other family members can't do it for whatever reason, and I know a lot of you will relate to this, someone has to do it. Maybe it's more innocent. Maybe it's one of your siblings who had more mental health related issues or more disabilities, or maybe they are, level 3 autism. Maybe someone else had other physical health issues and they needed more attention. And so the family and the resources and the attention go into that kiddo or that parent or a different family member. And thus more of it falls on the younger kiddos. Or the eldest kiddo, technically. So this is where they do that. There's that book called The Drama of the Gifted Child. It's old. Not all of my clients enjoyed it, but it's got some good stuff in there. And the drama of the gifted child, right, the intelligent child, ends up doing a lot of the things to take care of the family. And it ends up maneuvering their personality to where they have lack of boundaries. Sorry, if I freeze, I'm thinking, right? So like the computer isn't frozen in case you're like, what the fuck's going on with this jackass? He's shining his head. I will for a quarter. Shine my own head for a quarter. That the joke doesn't even make sense. Autism. So some folks will take on the responsibility. Some folks will become maybe more controlling later on in life. Some maybe will have poor boundaries, like I was trying to say before I distracted myself. Maybe some will be Mr. or Mrs. Fix-It, right? They always want to fix things, and they always feel useful by fixing things, by helping people. And so they get a lot of their ego strength, their validity their identity from fixing things and doing things and being productive, which is all awesome. But then when that's the only thing that you can see is like, you know, you only have worth if you're being productive. You only have worth if you're making others feel good. You only have worth if you're fixing things. You only have worth if you're soothing people and listening to people, taking care of people, doing all the things. And eventually you burn out because you forget that people can take care of you. But you don't want people to take care of you. Well, why? Because you need to take care of others. And if you're taking resources, then you're not doing your job. So what is your purpose? Your purpose is to serve? No, gross. So you see where a lot of our personalities get perverted and poisoned. But people love you and people need you. But do they love you, or do they love the things that you do for them? Do they love using you? Have you been enabling these behaviors for eons and years? I wonder why you're so tired. I wonder why you feel like you're being pulled in a million different directions. I wonder why you feel like you're failing everyone all the time. I wonder why you're so fucking anxious. I wonder why you're overthinking everything. I wonder why you're so afraid that people don't like you. It's because you've been in constant fear your entire life, thinking that you had to hold everything in the strings of the world, like I talked about in Loki, to make sure that everyone was fed. But did you eat? Who loved you? I'm not saying your parents were bad. Just saying sometimes there's reasons why they can't show up for you or me in the ways in which they need to. Life gets in the way. Life is hard. Life is difficult. Their trauma gets in the way, their responsibilities, the world crisis, financial related issues, health concerns. I get it. I'm not trying to make excuses, but I mean, I get why, you know, sometimes the kids got to step up. And sometimes you're right, you got the families with like a million fucking kids. How can you love a million kids? You can't. People are going to get the short end of the stick. You see a lot of poor families, right? Because there's a lack of education or a lack of use of contraception. And whenever you see like lower education rates, you're going to see more children, which is pretty normal. Whenever you get into some of these Catholic families, yeah, they'd be fucking these Catholic and Christian families. They'd be having big families. Like all jokes aside, I mean like so for real. So you'll see these families with like 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 13, 15 kids. Specifically years and years and years ago, the boomers were having tons of kids. It's just very, very common. And married very early. There's no way you can love all these kids. I've had multiple clients that were like, Nas, I'm fucking alone. And I hate going home. And it's just things I have to do. And I don't want to fucking do the things. And the kids end up being really burned out. Very anxious. And you see a little bit of OCD start to form. Which is like really sad. So for those of you that identify with the birdie, Ivy, in that scene, you see like this pain, but also this pride of what she's done and who she is and how she's protected her people. But at what cost? What's the cost? What's the cost of all of us have to pay to make sure that we take care of everybody? I'm not saying you would change it because, right, I mean, then your siblings or other people, you know, maybe wouldn't have a good life either, but what's the cost? I advise you for your homework to think about how do you show up in this world? How do you find value and worth? Sorry, I am like so nasally right now. I'm so sorry. But how do you find your worth? How are you showing up in your relationships right now? Are you overextending? Do you trust and lean on others? Are you okay being vulnerable and sharing bits of your soul, identity, thoughts, feelings, emotions with others? Do you feel like you're a burden if you do that? Do you feel like you're too much if you do that? Do you feel like they will say no to you, neglect you, dislike you, throw you away if you give them that? Because if you're not helping them, are you meaningless? I want you to think about those things. Why did you go into your career? Was this the only option that you had to go into these helping professions? Or were you kind of forced into this, molded into this, and then this has ended up being like your passion, something that you're good at because you were forced to be good at? So maybe you did want to be a teacher or a nurse or a therapist or a caregiver or a RBT working with little autistic kiddos. Maybe you wanted to be some other shit, but you were molded into this caregiver, and thus your career, awesome. You get educated in that stuff and that becomes your career. Maybe you find out you fucking hate this shit and you're tired of it. Because then you guess what you got to do when you go home if you got a family and kids. You got to take care of those little fuckers too. You don't even get paid for that shit. Blech. That's a joke. I would like you to question how you show up in the world. How do you think those of us that had to step up in the family, how do you think it's changed you? And for those of you that grew up and maybe you were the little one or the one that didn't have to step up, but your big brother, big sister did you ever say thank you? Did you ever say you were sorry for being a little shit? Let's be real. You were a little shit. You're a fucking turd. You're a little runt, little shit. So fucking say you're sorry. Also to your parents, they probably suck too, but sometimes you can say you're sorry for being a little shit. And I was definitely one of the worst shits. Smelly shit. Golden turd. But maybe that's something that you and your siblings can talk about. If you were the youngest, maybe you'll realize it when you got kids, or maybe you'll really realize it when you got more responsibilities. But how did that change you? In the relationship with your family, your mom and dad, or how did that change you with your sibling that had to step up? Some of you will be more connected to your sibling when shit hits the fan than your parents, which is fine. Some of you will feel the emptiness when you don't have your sibling to talk to, or cousin, whoever it is, right? Instead of the parents. And that's fine. I just want you to put some respect on it. And also know that maybe you won't be as controlling or maybe as obsessive, but you'll be more laid back and chill. That's because you were privileged enough to be laid back and chill because other people were handling the shit. And so you should question on why the ways you are the way you are. Are you more relaxed and chill? Why is that? Why is it that two people grow up in the same family, but their personalities are completely different? Yeah, there's some nature shit in there too. There's some genetic components in there. Sure, there's some gender stuff in there too. But have you questioned why is it so different? I would ask you to do that. I would also ask you to, as we go throughout the pod, is when did you start seeing some of the childhood innocent joy and curiosity fade? When did you start to see it dissipate? Write it down. Write it in the comments. And when did you start trying to take it back? Start having fun again. As we look into the second scene, I'm trying to think what the second scene is now. We just talked about Ivy, blah, blah, blah. Oh, yes. We see that she talks about the piplets. And he realizes, Ollie, that she's the fucking one that found it. She was the little birdie that day. And he is now sitting with the person that is now starving his entire fucking family. You see his face change. Oh, I just got the shivers. You see his face change. It was you? You're the one who took all her food? You know he's thinking that. And you see him dissociate. And she's just happy. And she said, you look like you're tired. You should go to sleep. And he's a zombie. And you see night turn into day. And he's still there, zombie. She goes, Ollie, look. I know that feeling. I wanted to talk about this because I know many of you know that feeling. When you realize you fucked. When you realize you made a mistake. When you're stewing over something. When you can't sleep. When you're having nightmares while awake. And all you can see is terror. All you know is the fear, and you're like laser focused, and the autism or the ADHD, the OCD, the anxiety, the trauma is taking full hold. and you are no longer controlling the reins. You are no longer driving. Yeah, I've had that stare. It's a scary one. I've also been up late, stewing, hypothesizing, catastrophizing, praying, metaphorically and literally. I know many of you will understand that. I know many of you feel that daily with the dissociations. Well, some of them could be daydreaming and chilling and vibing dissociations. But I know some of you get that trauma spike dissociation when you're triggered and you're like, what? That is a very common thing for a lot of us. Some of us can lose minutes. Some of us can lose the entire day. Some of us will shut down and go catatonic, like you saw him, Ollie, in the Javin body. And my heart goes out to all of you. There is no way you can just get out of that. You just gotta ride it out. Your partner, your friends, your siblings, your roommates gotta ride that shit out. It's gonna take a second for you to snap back to reality. And then you can do some grounding techniques and things like that. But your brain is gonna have to get hit in the head. It's gonna have to take that bullet for a second. And then when you come to, then you do the grounding stuff. If you can snap yourself out of it, fantastic. I've dissociated for hours in different places. I can do it in the gym sometimes. I don't even know where the fuck I'm at. Next thing you know, you're looking at someone's feet. You're like, holy shit, I've been staring at this chick's feet for like 3 hours. Going to jail. No, I'm definitely going to jail. Yeah, those dissociations are intense, my guy. So I'm glad that we were able to get that scene in there. That's why I did that. Very common for neurodivergent individuals to have that trauma spike, that spiral. And specifically, I guess it looks like I jotted over here is not only is it the dissociation, but it's the realization of what happened. And our best friend on this podcast, our best friend shows up. Self-hatred. Yeah, a lot of you know what that is. Almost every single one of my clients has to deal with that, self-hatred. And that is the little bastard that freaks us out, the self-hatred. And then the abandonment spikes, the dysphoria, the rejection spikes, the shame, the what did I do? What did I do? Spikes. So that's why I wanted to show that scene. I've got tons of clients that are battling like self-hatred all the time. Little small mistakes that they do, big mistakes, the dumbest things. I was talking to a client recently. I said, you're smiling. You're having a good time. So I'm kind of shocked. You last told me you were fucking everything up. Everyone hated you and you had no friends and you're going to fail your classes and you might as well just quit your sport and quit everything. But here you are smiling. Everything's good. So either you're fucking lying to me and you're just dramatic as shit, or we need to talk about you crashing the fuck out and your anxiety because you're a fucking tweaker, my guy. But in those moments when you're completely overwhelmed by stress, by people yelling, by trauma, by school stuff, obligations, and you feel like you're being stretched too thin, you can't really think that well. You can't really find your way out. And then what ends up happening, you just get consumed with negative thoughts. It's like they hunt you. It's like the firewolf. That scary voice. That's it. You're cornered. That self-hatred allows those thoughts to come in quicker because when you mess up, the self-hatred is immediately there. Gotcha, fucker. As you get more confidence, you get more W's, maybe you get more education, you build up your resume, you have better and better friendships, maybe you have good relationships with a romantic partner or good experiences. You start getting a little bit of swag, a little bit of confidence. You're like, fuck yeah, I can do this. Maybe I'm not terrible. Maybe you just work on being vulnerable. By vulnerable, I don't mean sharing your entire trauma story. I mean, like, maybe you just work on, like, being a little bit more in depth and talking about your life, family, hopes, dreams, right? You don't always have to be fear-based, trauma-based, hopes, dreams. You allow people to see parts of you. You share all the cool stuff that you have in your room. That's vulnerability. And then you see that people won't reject you, and you see that all the propaganda out there, not everyone will hate you, and there are good people out there, and there are people that you can trust. That's how you build a life. But you will meet bad people. But there's so many good people, and everyone says all men suck, all women suck, everybody sucks. It's not true. It's not true. So many good people out there. Sometimes I tell my girls, sometimes you're going to have to kiss a few frogs to find your prince. They're like, Nas, I've been kissing fucking frogs for years. I'm like, hey, well, it is what it is. You'll find your prince. Or maybe you like girls, right? Maybe we try a girl. Maybe you don't. Maybe you try Miss Piggy's. I don't. What's the girl version of the frog? I don't. Why did I go Piggy? I'm sorry. You can cancel me later. Back on track, Nas. We next get to the scene where Ivy's talking about things and they're getting ready to get the next like flower thingy, and you see Ollie finally let into her about like, no, I don't trust you, and like you don't even know who I am, what do you? And then he goes into obviously all the hatred for himself, but specifically starts talking about, my dad won't even look at me. I ain't gonna lie, bro, I was crying. The shame that I brought my family, how I destroyed my community. There's no bigger shame than that. That's worst case scenario. That's how the movie opened up. The worst day of my life, he said. Ollie's devastated. So that's his view. Were to go about and do something with your family or your sport or your academics, and you just let your family down, or they keep telling you that you're a failure, that you're a loser, that you're slow, that you're fat, that you're ugly, you're too dark, you're too white, right? You dressed wrong. They keep pooping on you and pooping on you and pooping on you. And then sometimes you'll see your family won't even look at you. They won't even look at my clients sometimes. My students feel unworthy of love by the time they get to me. Like in Thor, you're unworthy. And then it comes down to me to love them? Who the fuck am I? I'm just some random asshole. I got to cry today twice with 2 clients. It was good. I got to tell someone how honored and proud I was to be the therapist. That they should have been so much more fucked up than what they are. After I got to see more of what they dealt with throughout their childhood. And I got to see how awesome they are. And how they could have been polluted and changed their entire identities, probably based on what happened in the family. But they didn't. They saw all the bad things in the family and decided to go the other way. And decided to show up better. They said, my biggest fear is that I would never know what good love is or a good relationship is. I've never seen what a good relationship is. Not between my parents or not between my parents and us kids. So how was I supposed to find it, Nels? But you did find it. And it is good. And you do have self-respect. And you do have boundaries. And they treat you well. And you're doing all these really cool things now. And you have thoughts and feelings and emotions, and you can articulate them now. You're not ruled by your trauma. You're a stubborn fuck, and I kind of hate you sometimes, but you're not ruled by it. I said, I'm just so proud of you. You can see the kid get choked up. They don't get choked up often either. That was good. That was a good day. And then the next kid, the same shit. There's a bunch of good stuff. Whenever I say good things, I usually get choked up. Me and the other kid the other day, they go, you know what, Nas? My partner said I need to start being nicer. I'm such a shit. I was like, hey, you are a shit. You started the session today just calling me gay. I was like, Jesus Christ. You just made like gay jokes for 3 minutes. I'm like, girl, you're mean as shit. She's like, that's just when you know I love you. But I'm like, yeah, no, I don't want your love. It's fucking terrible. You're like a rotten fucking tomato. You fucking dirty bitch. And then I said, you need to work on being sweeter. And then there's a lot of crying out. Why am I like this? A lot of my clients, why am I like this? Me as well. Jokesters, shit talkers. Hard for us to be soft and kind. It's literally hard for me to be kind to people. To say something nice, it's difficult. I'm not joking. I'd rather call you horrible names. Horrible names. Even with my little nieces, I want to say the dumbest, horrible shit. Well, my client says the same thing, and they're spiraling, crashing out. I kid you, just got to be a little softer. So then we start looking for nicknames to call their partner instead of you little bitch. Let's get away from the little bitch thing. I think you should call him something else. I think we called a little tater, a little potato, or sweet potato, or some shit. I don't fucking know. We got a different name for him now. Or they're going to look for different names. Why did I tell you this? We're all so beautifully fucked up, man. That's my thing this week. You're beautifully damaged. Beautifully damaged. And someone will love that beauty and accept you with that, and their damaged bitch will match your damaged bitch, and it'll be good. But we see this scene where Ali, and if he was to not figure out all this stuff and his family was to die and starve, I don't know how that guy makes it. I don't know how his depression is horrible. I don't know how he doesn't take his own life. I'm gonna be for real on that. There's no way that Puku doesn't not harm himself. There's no way. Many of us can't live with letting down, people like surface level parents like just in the smallest bits. You let down your entire population, your entire fucking race gets eviscerated. Oh my God. This is a depressing ass movie. So then we look at the Boogle, right, is the fish. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that, but there is very good scene where he talks about just the greatest thing is connection. His friends. He says you spend so much time alone and your mind goes to a lot of dark, dark, dark places. I know many of you listening to me are probably there right now. I know many of you autistic fuckers, ADHD bastards, anxious little shits, traumatized shits, paranoid shits, like me, say it with love. And a lot of us are alone. Some of us got friends, some of us don't. Some of us have surface level connections. Some of us have, I've been lucky to have some deeper ones. Isolation is terrible, man. I've talked about it on pods before. You heard me talk about specific individuals where they say, no one even talks to me. No one looks at me. I haven't talked to a human in days. You go a little bit crazy in that solitary. And then you see the fishes in the scenes and how cool it is that they're like playing with each other. I feel like that's what it's about for most of us, human connection. What does it all mean if you're not doing it with like others? That doesn't mean like just romance. I mean, just in general, experiencing things with other humans. Yeah, it's cool to do stuff on your own, but it's also really cool to experience the world with other people. I hope that many of you find, good people, soft people, kind people, funny people, people like me that are fucked up and like talking shit, but also can be soft and emotional and cry with you as well too. But yeah, the Boogle was very alone. And you find out he's the firewolf, right? But he also tells you in the next scene that he was thrown out by his family. He was the runt of the litter. And so I think the old saying is the child that doesn't feel the warmth from his village will burn it down to feel it. That doesn't get the love and the warmth will burn it down to feel the flames, the fire, the warmth. Well, isn't that a fucking metaphor for a lot of people in the world? You see a lot of villains like him. You see a lot of dudes like him currently. A lot of dudes. A lot of white guys. I'll be for real with you. A lot of white guys. A lot of people just angry in general, though. That because they're not loved in a certain way, they think it's okay to like hurt others and take it out on others. And you see a lot of men. Hey, if you're a dude listening to this, you know I'm telling the truth, brother. Don't fucking turn the podcast off. You know it's for real. You know that there's a lot of angry motherfuckers. You know you're angry. And so you think that the way to be better is to be tougher, to be more angry. to push people away, to be violent, to be abusive, that's the worst shit you can do. You're just passing on generational trauma, my guy. I told a girlie today, they said, I don't want to be angry. I don't want to be angry. I don't want to be angry like all these other people. I said, I'm okay with you being angry. I'm not okay with you hurting anybody else with that anger and letting it come out in inappropriate ways, but I'm okay with you being angry and standing up for yourself and doing certain things, right? I'm okay with the emotion. But one of the worst things I've ever felt in my entire life, oh, that's an emotion, sad emotion, is when I've scared people. And I like fucking scaring people. I don't lie. I liked it hurting people at times if they deserved it. Feels good. Anger feels powerful, consuming. You're on fire. And then you can feel all the trauma leaving your body and then you're putting it on someone else. But unless they deserve it, as long as they deserve it. I'm not saying you should hurt anyone at all. I know I'm fucked up. Now as the therapist is fucked up. I tell the kid one of the worst moments in my life, every time it happens, is when I get loud or angry. Hasn't happened in a long time. And I scare someone that doesn't deserve to be scared. Seeing their face shake, the terror, the fear. Oh, that's horrible, man. To know the bastards that did that to me and how I felt, I never want anyone to feel like that. That doesn't deserve it. That's a horrible feeling, man, to see that. To see like an innocent individual terrified of you or what you could do. So I always tell people with the anger, please, 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 please do not let it come out of the box on the wrong people. If you're angry, go sit down, walk away, take a time out, go drink some water, talk to your supports, go fucking watch a movie, show, music, go exercise. You need to process that shit. And you need to make sure that it does not affect others, that it should not affect. That's pretty much like the dumbest thing you can do. That's pretty much like, I don't want to talk about this too much because I don't want to get in trouble, but when people go and do things and like they hate people and then they go hurt others that they have nothing to fucking do with it, you fucking idiot. Specifically talking about some of these motherfuckers that go into like schools and churches and do wild things. Like, what? You got bullied by these random folks, so then you go over here and you do why? I've been in some classes for like idiots that do these type of horrible things in society, and it has nothing to do with exacting vengeance. It's just about hurting the most amount of people possible. And it's usually not as thought out as what they wanted to. Getting away from that. Anger's scary. It's a very good emotion. Well, you see it with a firewolf in that next scene that I wanted to show you, and you see how he, took advantage of things and he burned everything down. If he couldn't be happy, no one could. If he couldn't have joy, no one could. And so he wanted to bring fear back. What the fuck? That's some Trump shit, my guy. That's some king shit. You're ruling with fear and hatred? The fuck is that? Who taught you that? That's in your Bible? Could have been in your Bible. If it was, you need to get a new fucking Bible. Anyone that preaches that shit, you're nothing. You're a loser. You're scum. If your mission is to hate other people and to hurt other people, well, what are you doing with your life? So the firewolf, I get it. You're damaged. You were thrown away, but then you decide to hurt other people. What are you doing, Mike? There's other choices. And then you see how you destroyed all these lives. Abusers don't know it, but they destroy more than just their children's lives or the girlie's life in front of them, the child's life, whoever it is, the coworker's life, their subordinate's life. They destroy every life that person touches after that. Because then the kid's mind is forever changed. The woman's mind is forever changed. That person's mind is forever changed And the ways they navigate the world after that will be forever changed. Yeah, they could heal, but it'll be changed. It affects everything. And it could cause more poison to spread, more hatred, more paranoia, more propaganda, more isolation. The vulnerability dies from all of us. It dies. It's been dying. Social media made it even worse. It's been dying. You see it in pockets of love and kindness. It's so rare. That's why when humans get connected to me, they get stuck to me. Because they're not used to that type of love, that type of joking and shit talking and protection. And I'm not used to it. They know that I care. One boy said, Nas, you always end every session with, if you need me, text me. I do. If you need me, text me. You shoot me a message. I'll get to you as soon as I can. We'll talk next day. Couple hours. And he said it's crazy because at first I didn't think it was true. And then you showed me that it was true. And I would never believe anyone if they said that. But you, I believe. I've never believed someone like that you would show the fuck up if needed. Yeah. Only reason why I ain't answering my guy is because I'm fucking asleep. Or play Fortnite. And sleep. But I'll get to you. It's sad to know that people don't have someone like me in their corner. It's really sad. I hope you got a big Nas in your corner somewhere. Even if it's your fucking dog or cat, I hope you got someone to love you, to show up for you, just to be there, my guy. Not just to be there. We need humans. Like the Boogle said, that piece of shit Firewolf. It's about connection in whichever way you can get it. What's crazy though is that you see the Firewolf talk about how he's betrayed by his people. But specifically, you see him go up to Ollie, and right, he's like, I tricked you so easily. You're so gullible. It's like, Ollie, you're my best friend. He tricked him. He tricked all of us. Ollie's a sweet fish. And he's saying that Ollie was just looking for people and that he was maybe like weak or gullible or just too trustworthy. It reminds me of a lot of neurodivergent kiddos where maybe they can't read the signs and they can't see the wolves in sheep's clothing. And they just trust some of us, not all, but trust people. You see a lot of autistic folks, very, very sweethearted, very kind, very childlike, very innocent. I'm not that version, but there's many versions like that. And they are easily manipulated. And our population is usually victims of trauma. And we have high rates of PTSD or complex PTSD. We do. But this is why a lot of us are like scared to be seen, to be out in public. Because that's where the danger is. That's where the bad people are. And so he talks about, the kiddo being like gullible. And I felt so bad for him because I was like, that's it. If someone gets hurt like that in adulthood, after already being hurt in childhood, being betrayed and flipped on like that, it's over. You're not making any friends after that. You're done. You're done for a while. How long is it going to take back to build that confidence? Thankfully, Ivy was there. I think this relates to a lot of us. And for those of you that have been through that trauma, pain, that betrayal from family, from friends, by your partner, by your church, those are fucking scars, my guy. I'm sorry. Sorry that people do suck. I don't know what to tell you. People suck. And the only way to get through it is to keep moving forward. Because you could die in your pain and your misery and your trauma, or you can move forward. And you can prove to the abuser, to the person, to the bully, to the manipulator that they no longer live in your head rent-free, and they no longer will control your thoughts, feelings, and emotion, because you are taking your life back. You run the show. I don't care what the trauma was. You run the show. After you do your healing, after you get, days, months, years away from it, do some EMDR, whatever it is you need to do, you settle the demons down. You win by moving forward. You win by not dying. You win by loving and having joy and curiosity. You win by allowing yourself to breathe happiness and joy. That's how you win. That's how you win. Existence is resistance, they say. But I don't want you just to exist. I want you to love. I want you to love deeply, as I do. My father taught me. Deeply and unapologetically. And if that love happens to make you an angry little fucker like me and become very protective, a little homicidal, that's fine. It is what it is. But love. Allow your little heart to be destroyed. One of my favorite scenes from this TV show. He goes, I'm just so sad. He's talking to his doctor. I'm just so sad because my girl, I can't be with her anymore. And she's in a different country. And I just love her so much, man. I miss her so much. And I just don't want to feel like this anymore. I don't want to be so sad and depressed anymore. The doctor looks at him. He said, you know what? You're a miserable fuck. Stupid fuck. He's like, why are you being so mean to me? He goes, misery is wasted on you. What do you mean? I don't understand. He goes, young man, I haven't had my heart broken in 30 years when my wife died. I would give anything to have that misery back. He said, I don't understand. I would never want to feel like this. He said, this is love. Missing her, wanting her, needing her. He said, you had all the joys and happiness right in your palm, and now you have all this sadness right in your palm, and you don't even understand what you had, what you have, because on the opposite side of that is emptiness. That sucks pretty bad. Apathy, emptiness sucks. Why did I tell you this? To get all the good stuff, you're going to have to put your heart on the line. You're going to have to trust people. You're going to have to talk to people. You're going to have to do things. And you might get broken. You will be alive. You will experience things. I want you to think about navigating these relationships healthily. I want you to make sure that you are paying attention to the subtle cues. Those of you that have trouble with those things, as I do, if they're divulging too much, if they're love bombing you, if they're asking too many inappropriate questions, if they're pushing too much sexual stuff. Are you having fun with them? Do they make you smile? Do they calm your nervous system? Do you feel chill with them? What are the places and the things that you're doing on the dates? How can you begin to trust them? Are there small ways in which you can watch how they treat other people when you're out at dinner and public places? How are they treating other people that they can't get anything from? They might want sex from you, so they might treat you better. How are they treating other people around you? Pay attention. If you end up going around their friends or family, pay attention how the friends and family act. You show me who your friends are, I'll show you who you are. Remember that. There's ways to just watch, to see people, to watch the algorithm play out, to see if they're safe people. They say that if you play 1 hour of a game, some type of game, board game, physical activity, whatever it is, it's equal to like 10 or more hours of talking. Because you can see their competitiveness, their fire, their anxieties, their connivingness, their manipulation. You can see it all when you play a little game. I don't mean like a manipulative game. I mean like a board game, something like an activity. You'll learn more in that. So maybe some of you that really struggle to identify if they're safe people or not, maybe you try and find some activity to go to on date number 2 or 3, maybe 1. I don't know. I haven't been on a date in a long fucking time. What the fuck do I know about this stuff? But I challenge you not to allow yourself to become this husk of a person. I remember one of my girlies, this is an old story, you guys, some of you know. She said, Nas, I'm not saying hello to anyone anymore. I'm not smiling at anyone anymore. I'm not being nice. I'm not doing this shit anymore. because no one ever says hello to me back. No one ever smiles back at me. She said, I'm not doing it. I said, okay, deal. I'm like, this is the stupidest fucking idea I've ever heard, but whatever, kid. Do your thing. I don't fucking care. I do care. She'd come back next week. I said, how'd it go? She said, what are you talking about? I said, how'd it go? Your experiment. Said, what are you talking about? She said, what the fuck you mean? What am I talking about? The thing. What thing? I said, kid, I'm gonna fucking strangle you. Quit fucking with me. What? Oh, yeah, don't fuck with me. Words, bitch. And so the kid goes, Nas, I don't know what you're talking about. I said, you told me you were never going to say hello and be kind and nice to people and be this bubbly, bright sunshine anymore. She said, oh yeah, no, I stopped that immediately. I said, what do you mean? She said, I couldn't stop myself from like saying hello and smiling at people and being nice. I just couldn't stop. It's just who I am. I said, I know that. That's why I didn't fight you on it the other day, because I knew you wouldn't be able to do it. It's who you are. Who you are. Like crying again. That's who Ali is. You see it throughout the movie that this is who he is. He's this kind, loving, joyful, curious, deeply emotional and connected individual. But he also maybe gets taken advantage of. That'll happen with some of you. Me. But I pray and I hope the best for you that you don't allow it to change you forever. That would be wrong. That would be wrong. To go and act like all the other miserable fucks, that's the wrong choice. Don't do it. Don't do it. So I don't know what you like. I don't know if it's your movies or your games or your shows, your special interests, but do it to the full extent. Enjoy it to the full extent. Talk to people about it to the full extent and express yourself and run your mouth and go see and do things. And if you want to play in the mud, a puddle, a butterfly, if you want to play with your trains or your movie or your manga, do it. Do it. You want to make cool shit in your room, but you're scared people are going to judge you. You want to buy a 6-foot teddy bear and put it in my office, think people are going to judge you. They did. They judged me. They did. My students loved me for it. That's all that matters. My father forced me to buy it too. That's all that matters. So, don't allow the world to make you a miserable fuck. Be like Ali. Be like Ali. The very beginning of the show, all the way throughout the entire show, he sacrifices himself in the last scene. We see the firewolf corner him and try to kill him with fear. And he decides to rise up. He decides to sacrifice himself to save everybody. He's a true hero. Many of you will love him in the story. Many of you support people that are identical to the firewolf. But you'll love Ali in the story. You'll talk about it. You'll have your kids watch Ali. But you realize that you voted for and you preach nothing but firewolf mantras, hate and fear-mongering, murder, genocide. Our greatest ally you support. Genocide. But you identify with the people, the poor people. You identify with those folks. You identify with Ali standing up. You identify with the resistance. What you talking about? You fucking moron. Should have your kids taken from you. You bigot. So you see Ali sacrifice himself. You see the pain, the trauma, and the fear. You see the scene where his mother drops her shoulders and then they all hug each other. When she drops her shoulders, my guy, oh my God. For those of you who didn't watch the visual, go back and watch the movie or just watch that clip on YouTube or Spotify. Jesus Christ. I was bawling my eyes out when I seen that. That's tough. That's tough. But he saved everybody. He saved them with love. Heart, soul, protection, his innocence. If not for his curiosity and love to give this jab and this bird, that little fruit thing, the piblet or whatever that was called, everyone would have starved and died. But instead, everyone lives because of his joy and curiosity and love and compassion for his fellow person, fellow man. Be like Ollie. And if you're like Ivy, the big sis, blessings. Remember your homework. I want you to write down how you think, being the big sis or the caregiver has changed you. I want you to think about how you show up in your relationships. And I want you to think about, are you doing it for you or are you doing it for others? And how can you make it a little bit more even? I'm not saying, you're becoming full selfish and cutting people off. I'm just saying, how can you make it a little bit more even? Are you okay with being vulnerable or a burden to some? Because remember, you're enabling people to use you if you do this. And remember, your partner will feel fantastic if they actually get the chance to help you out. Because if you're always helping them out, they feel bad about it. And if they get to help you out a little bit and share that intimacy or whatever it is, whatever the sharing of intimacy or vulnerability or pain and suffering, if they get to hold your suffering just for a smidge, it's fantastic. It makes them feel useful. It only allows you to be a better human. Real love instead of just being useful. Usefulness. What you're supposed to do. My girl always tells me, my client, it's what I'm supposed to do. Is it? Why? All right, everyone. It is, I can't see where the shit, my dad's eyes and my eyes are shit. It's 2:04 a.m. It's been an emotional week. I'm deeply burned out. I'm going to do a bunch of pods. I'm so sorry that my niece didn't get to do this one with us. It was not enough time. Not enough time when she was here. I promise you, I'll get her on the pod soon. I promise. But we got multiple movies coming up. A lot of animated movies coming up because a lot of you do enjoy those. So we're going to knock a lot of those out. I'm really excited about that. Hopefully I can pre-produce these before fucking Thursday morning at 2 a.m. every week. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for supporting yourselves. Thank you for supporting your friends and family. Thank you for being the Ivy. But I need you to be Ollie too. I don't know why I feel like crying every time I say that. Jesus Christ. I need you to be Ollie too. Remember, comment Super Mario or comment tissues if you want to be funny, and then tag 2 people, and then I'll send this out to you probably in the next 30 days, right? Probably when I come back from vacation. Like, share, comment. Make sure you leave your comments or some of your homework if you want to on YouTube or Instagram. Much love. And remember, take care of yourselves. And if you don't, we'll get there. Stick with me. We'll get there. Matter of time. Existence is resistance. All right, knuckleheads. Peace.